significant landmarks that make 2013 a remarkable year in the annals of Nigeria. To do a recap of those moments, with me are two gentlemen public affairs analysts, Dr. Katchi Ononuju and Mr. Bamidele Salam. You're welcome on the program.
It's always a pleasure being with you.
Thank you. I want to introduce Mr. Katchi. You don't need much introduction of this program. You're a regular face, public affairs analyst. And of course, we have Mr. Bamidele Salam once again, who is the head of media in the office of the Special Assistant to the President of Public Affairs. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, gentlemen, let's do a stock taking. How far do you think we have gone as a nation? How have we fared in the outgoing year? Let me start with you, Mr. Bamidele Salam.
Like every year and every nation, you have the ups and the downs. You have the high and the low side. And as far as I'm concerned, it's been a very eventful year for Nigeria in virtually every sector. You know, talking political, it's been a year of so much activities politically. Talking about the economy, it's also not been a bad year, judging by the fact that we've had very good showing and rating by international rating agencies, very credible agencies, about how well Nigerian economy has fared among the Committee of Nations. You know, talking about sports, we've done very well, very well. I know a lot of Nigerians are very happy with some of the development in that sector during the year. So on the whole, I think it's been a year surely with its own challenges, but you know, mostly fulfilling for Nigeria.
Thank you very much. We are going to go into details very much later. Let me start with going to the political aspect now, the political sector. Political terrain witnessed a lot of twists and turns, frills and thrills. What did we achieve significantly in the political landscape?
We achieved very good. We achieved education. Don't forget, historically, Nigeria was colonized twice. First, by the Fulanis who came from Senegambia, defeated and seized the Hausa states. Secondly, by the British who came. Now, when the British left, the Fulanis didn't leave, they stayed back. And they have ruled the country all since after the British have left. This marked the first year there was a tribal rebellion in the PDP, a tribal reaction to the mounting of the presidency by a man from a tribe they did not think should be there. For me, yes, it might have been disturbing for the ruling party, but it presents a great opportunity for country, because I believe it's a year Nigeria woke up to purpose, set to actually correct the wrongs that our forefathers did not do. If you remember what Nelson Mandela said, he said, I fought against white domination. I also fought against black domination. Nigerians in the 60s and 50s and 40s fought against white dominations. Nigerians did not fight against black domination. This year, we had some of the reports of those dominations. The UNESCO told us that in the whole world, Nigeria is addressed to humanity's largest concentration of children out of school. Plus, in Africa, Northwest Nigeria has the largest concentration of poor. Now, for me, it is a time of us telling ourselves the truth. And what do we do from those truths? That's what we must ask.
What do you make of the registration of the APC and, of course, the PDP crisis that led to the G7?
The APC is good, but then it's been hijacked by a tribal bandwagon. The fact that it has been talked about is beautiful. The problem of this political space is not the PDP. It is the inability of the political elite to build an alternative political platform. So the APC, in principle, as an idea, is welcome. But in truth and character, it's just not proper. Because what it is right now is nothing more than an ethno-religious political platform.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Bamidele Salam, let's look at the power sector. Mr. President did something that has never been done in the hand of this nation. What do you make of that?
Well, because the power sector is, probably the most significant of the sectors that drive the Nigerian economy. Most Nigerians came into the new year with high expectations on what will happen and how far the programs enunciated by Mr. President on power sector reform will go. And I must say that it's been a very eventful year. This year marked the successful completion of the privatization exercise of the power holding company of Nigeria. Don't forget that this was a process that has been stalled, frustrated, and it was almost abandoned before President Goodluck Jonathan came on board in 2011. We have a Power Sector Reform Act, which was passed in 2005, which never saw the light of the day. And this man came and transparently conducted the privatization of a sector, a multi-billion-dollar sector, within the first 2 quarters of the year, which is very significant, as I said. But above that, the NIPP project, which was started by President Olusegun Obasanjo, you remember also they were abandoned and in comatose before 2011. This president came on board in 2011 and restarted the NIPP project, 10 in number. And as I speak with you, the 10 NIPP projects have been completed in 2013. And in actual fact, 2, the one in Omotosho and the one in Alauji, have been commissioned for use. You also have the Zungeru Hydro Power Project, which was started 32 years ago. It had been on the drawing board. 32 years ago, it's supposed to add 700 megawatts to the national grid. President Goodluck Jonathan, also in the outgoing year 2013, kick-started that project in Zungeru in Niger State. And I think all this added together are an indication that we have brighter days ahead. Now, this is the road that was not taken before now. The road we have started taking. You remember what happened in the telecommunication sector, how the privatization brought about an expansion, inflow of new investment. And these are the things that Nigerians definitely will look forward to in the coming years in the power sector. So I think it's not been a bad year, concerning what has been achieved
in the power sector.
In the power sector.
Thank you very much. Now, because of the wanton killing of innocent lives in a section of the country being perpetrated by Boko Haram terrorists, the president declared state of emergency in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. How will you assess this?
I think it's, for me, I foresaw that the Boko Haram represents the failure of the old Arewa Republic. Don't forget, Nigeria was amalgamated, but then upstairs, as I was explaining earlier, you had an amalgamation of the federation created by the Fulanese, plus the Kanem Borno Empire. When you put that together, you had the Arewa Republic, which included segments of areas in Niger. But then, as we got into the democracy, you saw Nigerians from the northeast, and specifically Borno State, as exemplified in the policies of Ali Modu Sharif, the former governor. His implementation seemed not to regard the members of the larger Arewa Republic from that Niger Republic, and in reaction to exclusion, they started throwing bombs called Boko Haram. For me, it's a war Nigeria should fight to actually protect its borders. Tell Nigerians, we are Nigerians, and those who are not Nigerians shouldn't be. And in reference to this, you remember, the governor says specifically that 98% of the Boko Haram people are not Nigerians. The same thing happened in Kano during the carpet bombing in Kano. The emir of Kano cried, and in the crying, he said that yes, they spoke Hausa, but the Hausa was of the Niger Republic accent. That tells you this is an aggression being foisted against Nigerians by members of the older Republic, but not specifically Nigerians. And that's why, in reaction to sudden rejection by Nigerians, they bomb. But nobody can bomb Nigerians into submission. And to show that we have a responsive government that actually understood this is an aggression, we declared war against them, and right now, we're winning. And I believe it's one of the very best things we've done to declare the state of emergency in those areas that are regarded as frontline states. So I think that reaction to rejection will sustain, but with our determination to protect the security interests of Nigerians, we will defeat them with time. And I believe the government is on the right path.
You want to say something about that?
I actually have a rider to that. We also need to understand one thing. When you are battling insurgency anywhere in the world, it's never a tea party. It's never an easy war. And if you recall very well, when the Boko Haram hostility and the insurgency started, it spread as far as 7 states of the Nigerian Federation. There were occasional incidents in Abuja. There was an incident in Kogi. There was in Niger State. There were incidents in Kano. There was an incident in Sokoto. But as we speak today, as a result of the proactive measure which the president took in declaring that state of emergency and following it through, as we speak today, I can conclusively say that activities of the Boko Haram have been restricted to just one state, and that's Borno, where it's, you still have, occasional, coming in to wreck some up. So what I'm saying is that with the cooperation of Nigerians, with the cooperation of all the stakeholders in those states, in the northern states, and the gallantry of the Nigerian armed forces, Mr. President has been able to nip this, crisis, this, threat in the bud to a very considerable extent in the year 2013. And one is hoping and knowing very well that as we go into the new year, the story will be getting better, for this country. Yeah,
thank you very much. This is for both of you. I'm going to start with you again. Let's take a look at the aviation sector. It has witnessed ups and downs. We've seen airport being remodeled, and we heard about plane crashes. Very unfortunate. How will you assess the aviation sector in the outgoing year? Well,
I also think, like I said, regarding the issue of the economy, unfortunately, the aviation sector is the sector that people call the elitist sector. And, most Nigerians might not have the direct impact of what is happening there. But I want to tell you that a lot has happened in the sector in the outgoing year. Now, there were unfortunate incidents here and there. But if you look at where we're coming from, and you look at where we are today in terms of the functionality of the Nigerian airport, most Nigerians who live abroad and come home through this international airport will tell you specifically that they can observe remarkable change, reconstruction, remodeling, and provision of better equipment for the aviation sector to operate. And then one specific thing, significant thing, let me say, that happened also in that sector in the outgoing year, is the commissioning of the Akano Ibiam International Airport in Enugu. Now, you will recall that since the Civil War ended, no international flight had taken off or come into the southeastern part of Nigeria.
That's right.
And Mr. President did promise when he was campaigning before 2011 election that he was going to ensure that the southeast region joins other regions to have its own international airport. That promise was fulfilled in the outgoing year. And like I said, that is just very, very significant. So there are quite a lot of things that are happening. And if we focus our attention on just the low side, it is possible for Nigerians not to appreciate the magnitude of the transformation that is happening in this sector. And don't forget, even the air crash we're talking about, by the time the report of the air crash, and that's one of the report that the earliest time, the shortest possible time we did an accident and release of a result we ever had in Nigerian history. I mean, I'm talking about the overland air crash. By the time the report came out, it was evident that this had nothing to do with the incompetence of the supervisory agency or the functionality.
You mean the associated air crash?
But I mean associated airline. Sorry, not overland. But an error of judgment on the part of the pilot who refused
to heed to the advice of his co-pilot. Now, he's done justice to that. So I'm going to go to you. I don't know whether you're a sport lover.
I love
Nigeria.
Sports, of course.
This 2013 is a year of so many trophies for Nigeria in the area of sport. How do you assess that?
Well, I believe the sports shows you if policy people are honest or serious about being proactive in issues that are positive to our emotions. Sports unites Nigerians more than anything else. As I said earlier, if all other things fail, Nigerians have taken to sports. Yes, we came back to African football prominence by winning the African Cup of Nations. We also did internationally by winning the World Youth Championship, which we won a long, long time ago during its inauguration. And we've continued to show. And what I see is the Nigerian spirit and its resurgence. So would the politicians also allow that resurgence to also embrace their mindset and allow Nigeria to sustain its progression so that we can get to where our people aspire to be? That's a question. Now, when before now politics was allowed to instrument decisions in sports administration, our sports died. But now we've had a government that allows the sports to flow, allow the best people to represent the country, no matter what it is. Not building a team based on quota, but a team based on young people who have shown determination to actually succeed. Don't forget, this country, yes, we pretend it's a country, but it's not a nation. And that's why we need to come together to gel, to actually have that social gelling point that make us one people. Sports has been a very strong facilitator of that dream of us being one people. I pray that we extend that mindset to politics, to the economics, and also our normal sociological relationship with each other.
Oh, thank you very much. You, as the head of media in the Office of Special Assistant to the President of Public Affairs, I want to ask you this. That has to do with transportation. Okay. Let's take railway transportation system, and of course, the Ibadan-Lagos Expressway, which is very strategic to the economy of this nation. How do you see that?
Well, maybe I should start from the railways. Like I always, say whenever we have a discussion with people, especially on the social media, it is easy to neglect the significance of what you already have. I grew up in the days when the railway was, very, very functional, going to school from one distance to the other, by railway. But what we had before this present administration came on board was a total collapse of that sector of the transportation, that segment of the transportation sector. No single train was moving in Nigeria before 2011. And this is a fact in public domain. Today, as we speak, by December 2012, the completion of the Lagos-Kano rail line rehabilitation happened, and then it was flagged off. But in the course of the year 2013, we have had very, very significant improvement in the basic infrastructure for these rail services. I was watching the managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation on a program recently, who spoke about the fact that the Lagos-Kano rail services had been quadrupled in the last 12 months. They now have 4 regular routes. That is 4 on each side of Lagos and Kano. And he spoke about the rehabilitation of the eastern axis of the Nigerian rail line, talking about the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line, which is almost completed as we speak now. If you watch the documentary which the Ministry of Transport aired recently on a particular station too, the Kaduna-Abuja new gauge rail line, which is a new gauge rail line, the modern rail line, is almost completed. In fact, as I talk to you now, is almost about 80% completed. You also have the Nigerian Railway Corporation ordering for new coaches and wagons and commencing the freight of petroleum products. They have arrangements with the cement companies, and most of these people who do haulage on our roads, those things that do not make the roads last forever. So, like I said, these are significant landmarks in the nation. We are not where we want to be. We are not yet there. But we shouldn't also close our mind to the fact that something new is happening. And the new things that are happening under this administration.
And quickly, the Ibadan Expressway.
Yes.
That was inaugurated.
Well, it's also in the news, and it's already a fact that the federal government eventually broke the jinx on that road. I call it jinx because a road that was completed over 30 years ago, which did not enjoy regular maintenance and ought to have been expanded and upgraded. You have a contract of over 100 billion naira now being handled by 2 of Nigeria's most important construction companies, flagged over the president the outgoing year. And as I speak with you, that work is ongoing, and I'm very confident that the timelines will be met by government. I just want to say that Nigerians
in one word, because time is against us.
I see a very, very strong time for country. I foresee very strong potentials towards political instability, but I believe now that we're on this bridge, we will solve it.
Mr. Bamidele Salam.
I'm very positive, and the government is very positive. Mr. President is committed to the fulfillment of his contract, social contract with the Nigerian people. And so I'm sure 2014 will be a very great year for Nigeria.
Thank you very much.